Hey guys, I'm Nathaniel Forsyth. I'm part of Team Vault, and I'm recording this video for them. We're going to do a quick Aether Revolt draft for you guys. If you like this kind of content, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Also check out the rest of the channel. We do plenty of other stuff. We do unboxings, deck techs, lots of other kind of magic content if that's the thing you're interested in. We'll get right to the draft. Alright, we're going to get stuck into the draft here. Alright then. This is actually a fairly good pack. The things that we have access to in a lot of the colors are pretty interesting. This is not the standout card in the pack. Don't pay attention to me mousing over it. I don't know. Red is the most clearly impressive color. Spoilers, this is the pick. If you're in a situation where you can pick this card, you probably should. It's very good. If this wasn't here, we'd still probably be interested in the red cards. Scrapper Champion has the tendency to run away with games. Aether Swoop is actually quite good. It's performed for me in the past. Actually, the more I look at this pack, the less I like it. Let's just pick the Quickest Rebel and get out of here. Okay, we have some different choices now. Obviously there's the high-level play, the foil basic. But I think we're going to stray from that for a moment. Like, the most individually strong card is probably Vengeful Rebel. I've been very impressed with Leaving the Dust in the past. I think it does a really good impression of Repeal, which is a very good card. I've also been impressed with Windkin Raiders, and the blue-red improvised deck is very strong, and Quickest Rebel is probably at its best in that deck. That or the black-red deck, which obviously is where Vengeful Rebel is interesting. Vengeful Rebel, a little bit less impressive in the black-red improvised deck sometimes, although you do end up having a lot of implements. I think it's just about which card I think is stronger at this point. And I think Vengeful Rebel is probably... It is lower on my curve. It does a bunch of stuff I like. I like this card. It's good. You should play it in your decks. Of interest, we have Treasure Keeper. Just always like a solid card. Has synergy with this guy. Because obviously it dies, leaves the battlefield, you cast it a bit random, but if you cast this guy off of Treasure Keeper, then you get your full-on 3-mana 3/2, or you get a free 3/2 that kills something. Obviously that's a bit sketch to take a card just for that one interaction, but I'm not convinced there's anything else in the pack with the kind of power level we're looking for. This card is really interesting, but I think it's like a card with a lot of ifs attached. It's if they have an artifact creature, and if they have a non-artifact creature, and if you care enough to spend like 5 mana to kill both of them, best case scenario it's this incredible 2-for-1, and worst case scenario it's just terrible. We picked the Treasure Keeper because it's like pretty much no matter what deck we're going to build, I think Treasure Keeper's going to find a place in it, so I'm pretty happy to have it. I'm never sure how to take this card. I feel like it must be actually good. It just has so many things going on, right? Like, it says, like, if you control a creature with, it's like, again, it's a lot of ifs. It's if you control a creature with +1/+1 counter on it, if giving creatures your opponent's control -1/-1 is relevant, like, then it's really good. I don't know. I think Scrapper Champion's probably just a very high power level card. Defiant Salvager I've been like vaguely impressed by in the past, but not enough to pick it over a champion. Champion, too strong. There's a lot of like subpar green cards being passed around. This little man here, this slightly awkward to make work card. There's a lot of cards I'm talking about that are awkward to make work. This is mainly because the ones that aren't awkward to make work are either good or bad, or like not very interesting. So Fourth Breed Prowler is fine. I would play it in some decks, but not others. Yeah, pretty much. There's not a lot to say about the card. At least I don't think there is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the most interesting card in Aether Revolt. I don't even begin to know what the right pick is. It might be Deadeye Harpooner, it might end up being like the red-white deck. The red-white deck's good. I think this card probably has the highest power level. Ooh. Ooh. We're not playing Hope of Ghirapur. Don't play Hope of Ghirapur in your draft decks, guys. It's not good. I mean, it may be constructed playable in Legacy, but I am not even convinced there. It's just so weird. I mean, so any deck that would play Xantid Swarm would play this, right? But it was just Storm playing Xantid Swarm, right? I don't know. It doesn't seem that good to me. It's got kind of interesting in the. I've spent like no time thinking on my pick. Jesus. Whatever. Leave in the dust. I like leaving the dust. Ooh. Ooh. All the excellent mythics being passed around today. I really like Destructive Tampering. I don't think I have to pick it early, but I want at least one in every red deck I draft in this format. It's just, especially with cards like Scrapper Champion, this gets you so many free wins that no other card would have gotten you. Like Magmatic Chasm is a good card. Sometimes. The issue with the card is when it's not a good card, it's not a card at all. You're sitting there with a blank piece of paper in your hand. And when it is a good card, you win the game. Like, it straight up wins you the game no other card would do. Let's just pick this now. Then came back. I'm gonna take the Implement. We don't have anything that currently cares about Improvise, but we do have something that, a couple of things, like, which I think we're playing red no matter what. We have a lot of very strong red cards. We have a couple of things that care about Revolt. The Implements just, okay, so they look like they don't do anything, right? This, like, 1/2 mana, deal 1 damage to target player, draw a card. I wouldn't play that card. But they enable all of the synergies in the set. Like, especially the 1 mana ones. Like, Implement of Combustion is very impressive at what it does. It doesn't seem like it would be. You look at it and you go, okay, Implement of Combustion, cool. That's a nice card you got there. But it turns on. It's a Mind Stone for Improvise. It leaves the battlefield for Revolt. It makes toast. This card makes toast, guys. You should play it in most of your red decks. It's a good card. It'll wheel, because it's not like a high impact card, but you should play it. None of the cards in this pack are particularly interesting to me. This card's fine, but I'm not very impressed by it. I quite like Conviction-ish, if we end up in that kind of deck. So now we have a choice. We have Countless Gears Renegades, which is just a nice aggressive thing to be doing. It's kind of hard to enable Revolt in the red-white deck early. Like, this guy kind of wants you to, but he's just a bear, and bears are fine. And then there's Resourceful Return, which in the red-black deck I've had to be really impressive. I think this is quite a hard choice. I think we're going to pick the Resourceful Return. I would like to play black, I think, a little bit more. I'm now going to go back on that and pick this Alley Evasion. We could still be in blue, even. Implement Examination is kind of a weird card. It's kind of awkward. But, ooh, hello. So this isn't a hugely impressive card, but he's fine. Basically, you live with him. You learn to love him. Rishkar Pima Renegade. So there's a couple of things going on with this guy. Oh man. Moto's testing my resolve. So Rishkar Pima Renegade obviously is this breakout card in Constructed, and is currently worth a fair number of tickets online. And then the Enraged Giant is actually good in our deck, and Daring Demolition is actually good in our deck. But I think this guy pays for the draft on his own. This isn't actually normally something I like to factor in. Kind of messes up the drafting, in my opinion. But I could be a wealthy hypocrite. By wealthy, I mean like 15 ticks richer. But is he less than 15 now? I think he's a lot less than 15 now. I think he's like 3. I care a lot less about 3 ticks. I care a lot less about 3 ticks. So then it's like Daring Demolition or Enraged Giant. And I think Enraged Giant is a really strong card. Ooh. Rewarded for going black, sort of. This guy's also just good. Even if you don't have that many Aetherborn, like a 4 mana 3/3 that occasionally gives you other things, +1/+1, and you get to draw a card. Well, like it replaces itself when it dies, is just quite a good card. Vengeful Rebel might be better. Let's move away from white for a second, because we have some very strong black options right now. Renegade map is really good. I would really like to get a Renegade map. But like, I can't pick a Renegade map over a Vengeful Rebel or a Midnight Entourage. Alright, I want to play this guy and see how he... Jesus. Okay. So those are good cards in here. This card's insane. It's certainly better than Midnight Entourage. This might be enough to make us go white. On its own. This card's very strong. Other options in the pack include Augmenting Automaton and Renegade map if we wanted to stick where we are. But I think I'm pretty happy playing an Exquisite Archangel actually and going white. I think the how did this get this far? What's going on? Oh well, whatever. We're playing Exquisite Archangel. Alright, I guess rewarded now for different things. Quick up Shock or Caught in the Brights. Let's remove all of these and put in all of these. We might not be playing Conviction. Convictions in consideration. It hasn't earned its place quite yet. Shock's very efficient. Caught in the Brights. Pacifism's pretty good. We don't have any vehicles to make it really good though. It's kind of expensive. Shock catches us up. We're always playing Shock. We might not play this. I think I'll play Caught in the Brights. I think it's good. I think it's good enough. A lot of resourceful returns going around. This is a good card. So Raise Dead is... It's a decent card that I would mostly play if my deck was quite grindy or the format was really grindy. Like I play Raise Dead in like Eldritch Moon or Shadows of Innistrad draft. Certainly Shadows, which is like a really grindy format. Everyone's playing like big slow Delirium decks. All of the blue-red decks people trying to make work aren't very good. I mean, there were the red-green werewolf decks, but there were lots of grindy games in those formats where like a Raise Dead was really good, and there was a good Raise Dead in that format. Like this one, it's just so hard, so easy to turn on the draw card, at which point it becomes this incredible card. It's just like really good. Oh man. I don't even know if this card's good. It's so hard to evaluate properly. It's... On the one hand, I think there are several opponents in the draft league who this just straight up kills them. They are just dead. The moment this hits the board, game over. We can also play this guy. We need more. Like, they can't win. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. They can't win with this in play, or once this hits play. Whereas I think this is just like more of a workhorse card, good against a lot of people. I'm gonna play safe. Actually no. I'm going to try out Consulate Crackdown, and see how it is. And if it's rubbish, it's rubbish, and we can chalk it up to experience. And if it's not rubbish, then hey, Conflict Crackdown was great, and we get to win lots of games. So either way, we win, except for when we lose. Then we just lose. Implement Improvement is really like similar to Implement of Combustion. In this deck especially. Do I want 3 implements? I think I do. Okay, so the other cards in this pack that we could play. Siege Modification doesn't excite me that much. Maybe if I had something really exciting to put it on, but I'm just putting it on a creature that I played. We're also not that aggressive. Or we are, kind of, but we're like... Our aggression is based around like playing a bunch of implements and using them as Mind Stones to like power out a 3/3 for cheap. Oh man, I'm really unhappy. We're not going to see any Sweatworks Brawlers. The red improvised deck, unfortunately, isn't quite getting there. Okay, apparently black was the most open it's ever been. Why did this have to come along? I was drafting such a nice red-black deck. And someone passed me an Exquisite Archangel? This card's busted. Like, much more busted than this is. This is, like, a good card. And this card is... So it's very bad when it just gets removed. When it doesn't get removed, I think it's really hard to lose the game. What am I doing? I've lost all track of time in my life. I guess we're picking Precise Strike. Do I want another artifact for all of my weird stuff, even though it's not like as good as Frontline Rebel? I think I do. I think I'm more interested in another 3-drop artifact than I am in like just a reasonable, aggressive 3-drop creature. Especially given the way that this deck is going. I think this is... So normally this would not be a card I would be that excited about taking. But I'm kind of interested in it in this context. So, I know we have a lot of improvised cards. Well, we have like 2. We have a few improvised cards. I'm still not that excited by Ornithopter. We're not playing this probably, but we can take it. I'm not that interested in playing 2 Destructive Tamperings, like starting them, but I'm happy to have them up in my deck. What was I talking about? I was talking about bad card? I was gonna say it's a bad card. I was talking about a bad card, or maybe a good card. I've lost track. Oh, we also need artifacts for our Quicksmith Rebel, right? Because the card is great when it's great, and pretty bad as a 4-mana 3/2. I hate this card. Why did it show up in my draft? I hate this card too. I don't wanna do another 360. This card's really good though for our deck. Oh man. So how many white cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh man. Oh, 7. And it's an important one. 8. I'm legitimately upset by this draft. Like, just, oh, okay, cool. What is happening, guys? What is going on? Who am I sitting next to in this draft table? What are they picking? What are they passing? There are just no white drafters around me, apparently. This card's also really good for future reference, but obviously we didn't go blue-red, so it's not really playable. Given that I don't think we want to play any islands in our Boros deck. So yeah. Top tip: don't play cards you can't cast. This card would also be interesting for the black deck, right? We don't have that much plus. We actually have 0 plus. Okay, this card would be like fine. We wouldn't be that excited about it. We'd actually be really excited about this card. This card's so good. This card's busted. This card's the best combat trick they've printed in ages. I love this card. It's won me so many games. Long toss curve, swing. Oh, I'll block. Yeah, no, sure you will, mate. Moving on from whatever I was talking about there, mocking people for something, I think. Yep. I don't know why I'm looking at this card. It's not of much interest to me. This card is of much interest to me. This card is really interesting with Christing Threble. It's really interesting with Range Giant. It's really interesting with Foundry Assembler. I mean, if we're even playing Foundry Assembler. It's just good, right? It's just a good card. It's just a good card that you should play. In most decks. It helps that there's nothing of any interest in this. Like, so, this card's kind of interesting to give us like another 2-drop creature to play, which I could be on board with, but I think we might see more Eager Constructs. So, whereas I think Prophetic Prism is like a much higher pick for other decks. This card's also interesting. I found it to be perfectly fine. It's like really good with Deadeye Harpooner. Again, I have more hope that we'll see another one of those. We might wheel it. It's not the kind of card that sticks around forever. Are you an Artificer? Are you oh. Ooh, she's an Artificer. So is this big boy. Not an Artificer. Can't have it all, I guess. Artificer, Warrior, Aura. I'm gonna pick the Inventor's Goggles. So this card is really good in the improvised decks. We are not that deck. Much as I keep saying and talking about improvise, and I have all these implements here, we're not actually an improvised deck. We have like 2 cards with improvise, and obviously we're in Kaladesh now. There's no improvise in Kaladesh. But this card's really good in it, and we have payoffs in the form of like it tapping to make an Enraged Giant, tapping to make a Foundry Assembler, or more likely it being put on a Scrapper Champion, and Scrapper Champion being a busted card. We need a few more creatures. We have one thing that is a creature that they're not counting. Server Exhibition is also just really good with Master Trinketeer, right? We want to play Server Exhibition with Master Trinketeer. This card actually I think got better with the release of Aether Revolt. There are a lot more X1s. All of the kind of weird automatons, like the Welder automaton that gets played. There's others. There's more X1s I've found in the format. Ether Chaser, card's a really good X1, gets played a lot. This card could be interesting though. I think I might want more 2-drops though, just in general. And I think this is just too good with that deck, basically, to pass up, much as I would love. A Reckless Fireweaver deck. So this card's really interesting. It's normally not very enticing. It's not like an exciting card to see in most scenarios, but sometimes it's just really strong. Sometimes it's exactly what you want. I think it's more likely to be what we want than any of the other cards we could play in the pack. Sleeper Fanatic is not that impressive with no vehicles. I prefer Reckless Fireweaver with a 2-drop. What did I say? I said that we'd probably get another Acrobatic Maneuver. And lo, we did. We still don't have that many creatures. We have like 13. Which isn't that impressive. We might not be aggressive enough for Build to Smash. Obviously it's the only real card I'm interested in playing. This is not that good. It's very sad. We have exactly one creature that can crew it. So we might not be aggressive enough for Built to Smash, but it is really good with Scrapper Champion. So I'm going to at least kind of entertain playing it. I don't think I want 2 Acrobatic Maneuvers. I think I would like an Energy Trail Hawk. Again, very good with Scrapper Champion. And just something to do on turn 2. I don't think I'm going to play any of these cards, but Cathartic Reunion is like a playable card. We're just probably not going to play it. We're going to take Hijack. I'm not a big fan of threaten effects in limited. I find them basically if you're... Oh, nice! This guy came back. Threaten effects in limited I find are like, I think I was talking about this earlier. They're the last spell you want to cast, right? Like you want to play it, take their best creature, and win the game. So I don't think you need that many. I don't think I ever want to cast more than one threaten in a game. Because if you're not, most of the time you're playing like 3 mana, deal 4 damage, or something like that, which, I mean, it's an alright card, but it's not a hugely impressive card. I think I'm pretty happy dropping Conviction now. Also pretty happy dropping Foundry Assembler. I don't want to drop that many more creatures after that though. It's possible we don't want Crown-Slit Crackdown in the main deck, it's possible we want it in the sideboard for more artifact heavy matchups. It's also possible that we don't need the Night Market Guard now, or the Precise Strike if we have Built to Smash, and Alley Evasion. Yeah, I think that we have a few too many tricks. I don't really want to play more than 2 tricks, I don't think. I'm happy playing these 2. I think that their power level is higher than Precise Strike most of the time. Precise Strike's just a little bit awkward. This is a really weird deck to play 16 lands in, but I'm playing 15 lands. Not with this baby here. Could be this just isn't even in the deck for her, but I don't know. I want to try out the Archangel. I want to see if the Archangel's good. It may seem weird that I'm cutting cards like Consulate Crackdown and leaving in cards like Implement of Improvement, but Aether Revolt's a really big synergy format, and you need a certain number of enablers to allow your things to work. So we need a certain... like these implements are going to be really good for allowing our Deadeye Harpooner to come in and kill something, or allowing us to cast this Enraged Giant. I appreciate that we actually don't have that many payoffs for these sorts of things, but the opportunity cost is really low. Like these turn into other cards very quickly and easily, and allow us to kind of quite quickly cycle through our deck looking for things, even if we don't need them that game. For example, like we played our Enraged Giant, and we have all these things sitting around, and they're not doing nothing. We get to crack them. If this casts an Enraged Giant and then we crack it later, it was really close to a better Mind Stone for 1 mana, which is kind of nonsense. We also need a certain number of, we need just a number of 1 mana, well not just 1 mana, but like a number of artifacts that we can stick Quicksmith Rebel on, because otherwise we're going to end up in a situation where we can't play this guy because he's just a 4 mana 3/2, and then we have to play him as a 4 mana 3/2, and we're just so sad. So we don't have a huge amount of removal. We're kind of leaning quite hard on a few of our tricks, Shock, Eddy Trail Hawk to get us around them, Deadeye Harpooner, Caught in the Brights, and the synergy between Deadeye Harpooner and Acrobatic Maneuver. I mean, there's also synergy. Acrobatic Maneuver is just a good counterspell to removal, and there is synergy with things like Quicksmith Rebel to put itself on something new. Scrapper Champion, obviously we lose the counters, but it makes more energy, so if that's a relevant thing to do, then we can do that. If we flicker an artifact creature like Treasure Keeper, then Salivating Gremlins has synergy there. I don't think this is actually a hugely amazing Acrobatic Maneuver deck, but I think I want to play it because we're quite aggressive. I also quite like it with Exquisite Archangel. There's no particular synergy. It's more that Exquisite Archangel, if she doesn't die, she's insane. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with keeping her alive by protecting her with Acrobatic Maneuver or Alley Evasion. We're kind of just trying to be... So the other thing that we're leaning on with our lack of removal is something like Destructive Tampering. I was talking about this earlier, like Mana Chasm. when it's not a good card is like the worst card in your deck. When you don't have lethal on board and you need a removal spell and not this like rubbish like Alpha Strike card. But when it is a good card, it is the single best card in your deck and is the only card that will win you that game. When you're staring at a full board and you both have like upwards of 20 power, but neither of you can swing in because the other person gets to block better, and then one of you draws a Magmatic Chasm, and the game's over. And the guy with the Magmatic Chasm won it. So all that said, we're talking about how Magmatic Chasm is sometimes a bad card and sometimes the best card in your deck. Destroyer Tampering gets to be the best card in your deck all of the times that it is, and all the rest of the time it gets to be 3 mana destroy target artifact, which is slightly above rate. It's pretty high. It's pretty far above rate actually. If we're looking at something like Smelt, for example, 3 mana sorcery speed is not really comparable to 1 mana instant speed. But was Smelt instant speed? I don't know. It's irrelevant. 1 mana and 3 mana is quite a lot. Quite a big difference. It's a fairly major difference actually. But the fact that you're paying for the flexibility. I mean, you'd play a Shatter in this format. You'd play 2 mana. You would probably play 2 mana sorcery, destroy target artifact. That would be a really good card in this format. So 3 mana sorcery, destroy target artifact with upside is still a good card. I am bad at mana bases. Oh, get in the deck. And have been all my life. Moto suggests that I go 8 and 8. I have... Let me quickly just work this out. Not counting the implements or the Aegis Automaton. I actually don't really like Aegis Automaton anymore. Maybe I do like Aegis Automaton. I'm gonna start him. This is a card that I want to get a feel for. He's really weird, and I want to see if he's good. I want to try him out and get an idea of him. It could be that I should be playing Consulate Crackdown instead, but I just want something that I play on 2. We need a little bit more white, so it's possible we should be 9-7 rather than 8-8. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Alright, this is the deck. Pretty happy with it, all things considered. I think that the draft was a bit rocky. Figuring out where we need to be, getting past a pretty good black rare into a really amazing white mythic was pretty interesting. But overall, I think I like this this 40 card pile. Let's see how it holds up in actual play.